The Osbournes was a groundbreaking celebrity fly-on-the-wall reality TV show commissioned by MTV following their popularity of their appearance on Cribs, a youth-orientated version of Through the Keyhole. It was the first reality show to allow cameras to intrude on the daily lives of the famous. It was first launched in 2002 with 8 million people tuning in, making it the highest ever ratings hit for an MTV premiere and one of the most successful US cable series ever. MTV structured the Osbournes according to the conventions of an old-fashioned sitcom, where the protagonists are presented as almost cartoon characters. Introduced with an upbeat theme tune, the general comic tone is maintained throughout each episode with persistently cheery music that even includes other sitcom music such as the Terry and June theme tune. Signposting the comic tone further is the opening credits, depicting the family in an animated version of the home that has visual precedence in the Hanna-Barbera cartoons of the 60s, where traditional family values are played out against the backdrop of equally idiosyncratic settings, such as in the Space Age Jetsons and the Stone Age Flintstones. Here, Fred Flintstone and George Jetson have been supplanted with Ozzy, who is billed as the Dead, in the Consumer Age Osbournes, where even the jaunty font brings to mind those early shows. Humour derived from the everyday is a common conceit in sitcoms, and Ozzy's naturally and unintentionally funny drinking and drug-addled demeanour guaranteed laughs with even the most mundane tasks, such as looking for the remote control, getting fit, colouring in, and generally shuffling about, trying to avoid dog shit like a geriatric goth. A far cry from the seminal rock maverick who gave birth to heavy metal in the 60s. This could have been portrayed as tragic, but the structure, editing, and music ensures the humorous tone throughout. In the wake of the amateur footage documenting 9/11, perhaps the most dramatic films ever produced, a new sense of realism emerged in the shaky camera work of many subsequent productions, making the handheld filming inherent to reality TV a palatable experience for viewers. The public hunger that emerged for this kind of programming derives in part from the human desire to experience unmediated truth in the world, perhaps as a way to connect with other human beings in a more meaningful way. The technology that facilitates reality TV is merely the latest in a long line of media that can be traced from early paintings through the Renaissance to the evolution of photography and film. As a substitute for scripted programming, Michael Hirschhorn believes that plot and subject matter on reality TV are more authentic and engaging based on the unpredictability of human behaviour and the interjection of fate. Although Ozzy's quad accident and Sharon's diagnosis with cancer during production failed to prevent viewing figures from sagging in the second series, despite these events lending emotional depth to the show. With 500,000 DVDs sold of Series 1 in the first week of release, audiences were clearly choosing the comedy over the drama. While reality TV purports to be real, its very documentation is disruptive, creating an influential and therefore unnatural environment around which people try to live their lives. This is known as the observer effect. In Big Brother, this effect derives from the artificial containment and restrictions imposed on those involved. But in a show like The Osbournes, where a camera, lighting and sound crew become a domestic intrusion to supposedly record real life, the circumstances of that life become compromised. The attention seekers are certainly going to play up to the cameras, further influencing the dynamics of the relationships in the household. And if you're not exhibitionistic, then the whole conceit becomes absurd, which is why a third sibling refused to take part in the show and moved out of the family home during filming. Reality shows have been accused of inauthenticity due to premeditated setups. Hulk Hogan, whose reality show was a variation on the Osbournes, revealed how expensive it would be for a camera crew to film around the clock in the hope of catching something worth broadcasting. Admitting his show was self-scripted around a tight shooting schedule, which involved improvising likely scenarios from his life, resulting in behaviour he claims he would never truly exhibit. Jack Osbourne has admitted that some elements of the show were MTV's idea, such as a meeting with the dog therapist. However, Jeff King claims that despite the contrivance of the amplified setups, participants still experience real feelings and react accordingly to their true personalities. The show concluded after 4 series in 2005, with an episode involving a doctor discussing with the family the issues surrounding drink and drug abuse. Ironically, in 2009, Ozzy admitted to being stoned during the entire filming of the show. With no mention of substance abuse in the promotional material either for the broadcasts or the DVD releases, we assume his comically fragile condition is the consequence of a life of extreme excess. The revelations of his continued addiction during production makes subsequent viewing bittersweet and calls into question the motivations behind the project. Retrospectively, it seems a little cynical and exploitative to film a man in the midst of drink and drug binges just for entertainment purposes. This deliberate omission enabled viewers to revel in the dysfunctional relationships, the cursing, fighting, and general disarray of the family, free from the accountability of enjoying witnessing a mentally and physically unstable person struggle with daily life. Although it did catapult Ozzy from a cult heavy metal legend to a mainstream superstar, and made household names of his wife and 2 kids, who all have successful careers in the entertainment industry. But that's showbiz.